Hello, Fish Faithful. This is Marlins Daily on the Fan Arch Network. I am Kurt Semder, and we are coming to you after a Marlins weekend to remember, taking 2 out of 3 from the Angels and keeping themselves right on pace in the wild card race. And that's what you wanted from the Marlins this weekend, and it didn't look like it was going to be a good weekend with the way things started, but in the end, it turned out to be a pretty good one overall for the Fish. So, taking a look at this again, taking 2 out of 3 from the Angels, returning home after the Braves series Friday night, didn't look like it was going to go their way because the Marlins just really, really struggled to get that big hit that we've been talking about in previous shows. You know, they left guys on base left and right, went 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position, left a lot of guys on base, but they were still in position at the end of this game to have a chance to not just tie the game, but win the game. Kyle Stowers had a huge night, went 4 for 4, 2 RBI in the game. But the play that everybody's going to be remembering and talking about in the game, in the ninth inning, Javier Sanoa with a big hit, as he's gotten big hits so many times this season, comes through with a big single to left field that just goes over the third baseman's glove. Leo Jimenez gets sent home, which I don't have a problem with at all in that situation. Again, we talked about how the Marlins need to string together hits to score runs, and this was as good a chance to score and tie this game up as they were going to get. It took a perfect throw from Jose Siri out there in the outfield to get him at the plate. The Marlins challenged the call, and it looked like it really could have went either way. I think he was out at home, but they ruled him out on the field. Not enough conclusive evidence to overturn it. I think had they called him safe at home, there wouldn't have been enough evidence to overturn it. So it really went with what was called by the home plate umpire. And Jimenez thrown out at home, and the Marlins lose the game 4-3, and that was their fourth straight loss at that point. So you start to worry. Okay, here we go. That's 4 losses in a row. The offense is getting hits but not scoring runs. Where have we seen this before? It hasn't been that long removed from the big losing streak. But then something on Saturday. They had Sandy Alcantara, and he came through once again. Sandy Alcantara, what a performance. And we said, last week, what he does when he's on top of his game and the bats are also getting it done, he is a streak stopper. He keeps you from having an extended losing streak. And here you go, 4 straight losses heading into this game. And what does Sandy do? He gives you 7 shutout innings, strikes out 8 batters, gives up just 3 hits. On top of that, he becomes the franchise leader in innings pitched, marking yet another franchise record for him this season. He set the team's all-time strikeout mark, a couple of weeks back, as he passed Ricky Nolasco for innings pitched in this game. And the team just really came through with the bats, as I mentioned. Xavier Edwards has 2 hits, drove in 3. Otto Lopez, Jeff Conine had 2 hits each. And, you don't need too many runs when Sandy's on the mound, but 7 definitely gets it done. So they win 7-0 and get the big win they needed there. They get back to 500. They get rid of the losing streak. And then they build on it in the game yesterday. I mean, 12 runs, a 12-3 win, perfect. Nice, easy Sunday win for the team on a bullpen game. I mean, that's perfect. You have your bullpen game with Ryan Gusto starting. You're going to need some runs. 12 runs is definitely more than enough to get it done. Griffin Conine added 2 home runs in this game. He is just really swinging a hot bat right now, picking it up. 6 players in the Marlins lineup had 2 hits in this game. That included Kyle Stowers, who went 2 for 4 before he had to leave the game. We'll talk more about that in just a minute. But when we talk about what happened here with Kyle Stowers and we talk about what happened here with the offense, listen, they had double-digit hits all 3 games. All 3 games, which is just really, really good to see. We talked again about this team that they don't have a lot of power, so they really need to have games where they have 9, 10, 11 hits. to score a lot of runs, and they got that done this weekend. The only concerning thing coming out of the weekend for me, the bullpen threw a lot of innings, 12 innings pitched in 3 games. This bullpen has been asked to do an awful lot this season. They were asked to do a lot this weekend, so they definitely need the day off today to rest up, to recoup, and to try to get everybody back on track before they begin their series with the Pirates this week. But taking 2 out of 3, game over 500 right now. They won 60 games this season, and again, sit 3 games back in the wild card race right now. They're right where they were at the start of the weekend. They're sitting right where they want to be. Would love to be a little bit closer, obviously, but as we're seeing some teams around them kind of go back and forth, Marlins are just standing pat, and they just need to put together a couple of wins here, a nice little winning streak, and they can get right back into those standings right where they want to be. So, like I said, nice win for the team, way to get things done. And the only other part of it that really concerns you is Kyle Stowers and the injury that we mentioned right there, and that's a problem. Kyle Stowers left this game in the 5th inning, a left hamstring injury, didn't look good. He pretty much took himself right out of the game at that point. And, the team is saying that he left with discomfort. There's going to be further evaluation. We'll have to see later today what the tests and what the evaluation shows. Easily with a hamstring injury or hamstring discomfort of any time, he's going to miss time. How much time he's out is really going to be a big factor. If he's only out a week or 2, they can weather that storm. If he's going to miss, a month or so of these crucial games, they're going to really need some other guys to step up. And we identified Stowers as a guy who the Marlins were going to rely on to make a playoff push. He was somebody who was going to have to step up. He had a really, really nice weekend here again. Got plenty of key hits, drove in runs, doing what you want from him. And it's concerning with the injury because, again, he did have that hamstring injury at the start of the season that cost him the missed time. It was the other hamstring, so it's not the same leg, but still, anytime you're dealing with hamstrings, it's tricky. And this is something where there's a reason to be concerned right now. And the other reason to be concerned is because the question now is who's on first? Not the comedy routine, an actual question. Who is on first for the Marlins right now? Because a week ago, this question would have been answered very easily. Liam Hicks plays first base. Well, Liam Hicks isn't on this team anymore. He was traded to Tampa Bay at the deadline because you had some depth at the position of catcher and first base. That depth is now going to be tested. And I don't think you second guess the Liam Hicks trade because Kyle Stowers got injured, because injuries happen, and Liam Hicks could have easily been injured again. But they have to come up with a solution here at first base. Now, Leo Jimenez came in on Sunday and played. He could be the solution there. There was a lot of talk from the Marlins front office prior to the game about Agustin Ramirez and how he is possibly going to take some reps at first base. Now he may have to be put into action and actually have to play first base. I think you might want to take a look at Jacksonville into AAA and see where their answer comes from. I really wouldn't be surprised if Jonathan Long, the first baseman, infielder, outfielder that they picked up for Braxton Garrett at the deadline from the Cubs, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a call-up if Stowers is going to be out for an extended period of time. He has shown the ability to drive in runs, and he is somebody who you don't have to worry about defensively at first base. So that could be the way the Marlins go here, but they definitely are going to need to figure something out at first base if Stowers is out for any extended period of time, and you lose a guy who was an all-star just last season, a guy whose bat was starting to really heat up at a time you needed it to, that's going to hurt. So they're going to need other guys to step up. Can't have other players on this team go into extended slumps. Hopefully, though, the news is going to be good. Hopefully the results come back and he only misses a minimal amount of time because he is somebody that the Marlins, as we mentioned, really do need to have in their lineup. Now, the other thing that came out of the weekend, and we talked about a little bit, was Sandy Alcantara, who just continues to make history for this team and continues to have a season that, look, he's not going to win the Cy Young this year, but he's having a season that's reminding everybody of his Cy Young campaign. And once again, he breaks a franchise record, as we mentioned. He's now the all-time leader in strikeouts. He's all-time leader in innings pitched. He's also currently the team's all-time leader in losses, which that's fine, whatever. And he's also their all-time leader in WHIP, but he ranks top 3 in ERA, in wins, complete games, starts. I mean, you name it, he's up there. And it begs a question that I want to ask you guys today, and we'll talk about it a little bit more tomorrow. Is Sandy Alcantara the best Marlins pitcher ever? Is he the best that the franchise has ever had? There are a lot of great options, I think, here when we start comparing him to some other people. I just, off the top of my head, we mentioned Ricky Nolasco before. Dontrell Willis is somebody who you'd have to talk about. There are plenty others. I'm sure there's a couple that I'm not thinking off the top of my head here. I think relievers have to be mentioned there as well. The Marlins have had some really, really great guys closing games, especially during those deep playoff runs that led to the 2 world championships. So my question to you is Sandy Alcantara the best Marlins pitcher ever? And if he's not, who is? Let me know what you think in the comments section. We'll talk a little bit about that more tomorrow and compare him to some of the possible candidates and see where he ranks and where we think he ranks all time in franchise history. Right now, he's carrying this team, and he is just really, really stepping up when they need a pitcher to not just pitch well, but pitch deep into games. Sandy doesn't like to come out of games. He takes pride in pitching a lot of innings. And, the bullpen, as I mentioned, they pitched 12 innings in 3 games. 10 of those were in the games on Friday and Sunday. So, Sandy gave them a big start on Saturday, and it really, really helped them out and gave them the opportunity to, give a bullpen a day off that definitely needed it. So let me know what you think in the comments. Want to hear what you think about that and what you think if Sandy's the best Marlins pitcher ever. And again, if not, who is it? I've got some interesting ideas. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Finally, we take a quick look at the standings here as we start the week. Marlins are 3 games back in the wild card race, pretty much where they were a week ago before getting swept by the Braves and then taking 2 out of 3 from the Angels. Interesting to note what's going on in the wild card race right now. Arizona and Philly once again are tied for the 2nd and 3rd wild card spots. The Padres continue to make a run. They're just a game back at this point of the 2 of them. Behind the Marlins, I think, is very interesting. St. Louis and Washington, 2 teams who sold at the deadline, are hot on their heels. They're playing pretty well right now. Don't expect that to continue, but that's where they're at. The Pirates, a team that bought at the deadline, went out there and added to their team, something that a lot of Marlins fans wanted their team and wanted the team to do. They have been struggling mightily, and they have found themselves now all of a sudden 3 games under 500 after just getting trounced by the Mets over the weekend. So the Pirates are in trouble. They're not playing well, and they come right now to Miami this week. So not just an opportunity now for the Marlins to continue playing well and to continue making ground up in the wild card race, but it's a chance to put one of those teams that they would have to contend with for the wild card race further behind them. A chance now to put them maybe 4, 5, 6 games behind them in the wild card race. And again, this thing is so tight right now that if you can knock one of these teams out, it could really help you out as we make our way into the dog days of August and into September. So Marlins have a day off today. They definitely need it with all the guys that have had to pitch, with all the little bangs and bumps and bruises, and of course, a couple of injuries that they're going to have to deal with before they take on the Pirates starting in a series on Tuesday. Should be a fun week over at Lone Depot Park. We will break down the Pirates series tomorrow, talk about the whole who's the best pitcher in Marlins history, and of course, we will talk about whatever the news is regarding Kyle Stowers' injury. All that and more tomorrow here on Marlins Daily. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I will see you then.